Hey friends, Wayne over here at the Ram Man. Hey, we're going to talk about something cool today. So there's a preferred method of getting a hold of me. I love talking to people. Running a machine shop and keeping up with some monkeys is not fun. Talking to cool people, doing cool shit on cool buggies. That's what gives me a Woody. Big old Woody, hearing them stories. Emails, that's what you want to do, that's up to you. People don't put their phone number in there anymore, so that's going to slow down your help. You don't put a phone number in there because I'm not going to sit down and try to answer some big old complicated hydraulic problem because you spend an hour sending me a 3-page diatribe about some problem that you've got on your charger and think that I'm going to respond that way. That ain't happening. So, new thing since the pandemic, 8 out of 10 people do not put the fucking phone number in there, even after spending all that. I got dudes send me 6 or 7 pages with no phone numbers. I asked one a couple months ago, I said, why didn't you put a phone number in there? I just never believed that anybody would ever call me. That's what he said. You can't make that shit up. So anyway, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the Dodge Big Hubs. Of course, I own the market here. Of course, the 4500s and the 5500s are the 10 volts. And we sell a bunch of these. And, of course, that's how these hubs happen. And I bought my 2014 5500. Been out of trucks for a while. That was to tow all our shit, race cars and stuff. And lo and behold, took a trip to Colorado with my great big old Chris Craft. And you know what? Some bitch didn't have any hubs on it. And I said, man, my truck was laboring in them hills going across the divide. Headed over to Grand Junction. I said, man, when I get back to Texas, I don't give a shit if them hubs are $5,000. I'm going to get me a set. And when I got back, I Googled locking hubs for 5500. And I tell you what today, when you Google something and you get a blank page and it says no search results found, that's what happened with them. And then back in the day, Boss 429 boosters, no search results found. Your mission is probably going to be much more difficult than you thought it was going to be. So we own this market. These hubs make a drastic change on those big buggies. A lot of them are loaded down. A lot of them are service buggies, and yada, yada, yada. Of course, we use these Timken hubs, which are top of the line. You know, they are also greasable through the ABS port. You can grease them, you know, every 40, 50,000 miles if you want to. All you have to do is pop off the rotor. So you can grease them on the truck. You just put this grease fitting in that fits kind of snug. And don't make it any more difficult than it is. These are sealed, but they ain't airtight. And if you keep squeezing with your grease gun, that grease will just start seeping out there, just like anything else old school or whatever. So how do we make this happen? Well, we take, of course, right? It's 2026. There's, you know, as of last year, Ford had 20 million Super Duties with locking hubs. It's a proven design. So we take this Timken Ford hub and we change the rotor pilot and the wheel pilot. We turn them down so our factory rotor fits on and our factory wheels. That's what we do. And then of course, you know, the Ford design uses inner ball bearing or whatever which stabilizes the shaft inside. And of course, we use our thrust bushing design, which is even better because it's about twice the depth of the bearing, which it fits in there really nice and snug. You tap it in there, right? And then this spline thrust bushing fits real snugly on the shaft and bottoms out right there. So this is twice as long, and so this shaft is really, really stabilized in the back. And then of course, our Dodge and our Ford splines, they have the same count and the same pressure angle, but our Dodge splines, can't tell from there, our Dodge splines are about 10 thousandths taller than the Fords. So that's why we take the factory lockers out on the market. The ABMs are the cheapest, top of the line, that's standard. And then the mile markers are the slug design. We send them standard. And then of course the Warrens are available, but I won't go into detail. We ship, you can check out another video. We ship more replacement Warren locking units than anything else. We don't ship replacements of these, and we don't ship replacements typically of the mile markers. And like I said, these have been shipping out for 11 years. Here it is, 2026. And we ship out about $1 million worth of hubs alone, 40 or 50 a month. So we do not, once you stop this turning and the wear and tear, we do not ship replacement parts. Our replacement parts business on the hubs, especially the big bearings, is less than 0.5%. Less than 0.5%. Nose fit on there real snug, and there you go. So big bearing design, 2009 up. All you do is slip off your old hub. It has a 250 spacer plate right here. Slide on the new hub, rotate the shaft a little bit, and voila. And of course, we use them trick because the Ford hub is about 400 shorter. We have to make up that distance of 400. That's why we run our rotor spacers, which isolates our rotor from the hub. This is where the heat comes from. This is the destroyer. So we run these spacers, which provides an air gap. This is high-tech stuff like Formula One and NASCAR. Provides an air gap. That's one of the reasons rotors are invented, so you can get flow, and it decreases the surface area, the contact area of the rotor and the flange and the hub. This is what soaks up the heat, transfers your friction from your pads and your calipers to your rotor, and this is your heat sink. Bigger the rotor, more heat that it sink up, longer the rotor will break, but the heat transferred to the hub, that's what helps destroy the hub and degrades it. It destroys that, breaks down that grease over time, and that's what aids in shortening the lifespan of the hub. Anything that rotates the object of the game, doesn't matter whether it's a motor, camshaft, wheel bearing, crankshaft, is to try to keep the heat down and the friction down, because that's what destroys it. That's what physics and the combustion engine and the rotating mass, that's what it's all about. So with a lot smaller surface area, it is, and an air gap, it's much harder to transfer that heat from the rotor to your hub. And that's one of the reasons we don't ship replacement hubs. Once you stop all that shit from turning, that wear and tear goes down to nil. You will notice before you get a mile that you've done something drastic. It'll steer better, stop better, accelerate better, and those heavy trucks, you can expect between 3 and 6 miles to the gallon difference running down the open road. Guarantee you. God bless you. God bless America, and get you some hubs. It will completely change your truck. You will tell yourself, best damn money I ever spent on a buggy in my whole life. Not this buggy, any buggy.